everyone, it's Lydia, and I'm here with another episode for you this week. And for those of you who don't know me, I'm Lydia Joy. I'm a nutritional therapist and health coach, and I work with the hair tissue mineral analysis in my practice, and I help women increase their energy, balance their hormones, and find their joy. And today, I want to talk a little bit about the theme of this month, which is adrenal health. So in last week's video, that's what I spoke about. And because you guys did rate in my poll that you took, that was the number one health concern that everyone had. In last week's video, which you can still see below, I shared 8 steps that you can take to start healing your adrenals. And I want to quickly recap that for you before we get into today's topic. So step number 1 was get adequate sleep. We're going to talk about that today. Number 2, relaxation. Take time to daily relax, unwind. You know, you can learn relaxation techniques that are enjoyable for you, such as deep breathing, maybe massage therapy, foot rubs even, relaxation tapes, meditation, biofeedback, and nature therapy. So relaxation is number 2 that you can start doing to help support your adrenal health. Number 3, learning to accept yourself, receive nurturing and affection from others, laughing often. So that self-care and just really acceptance is so key. Number 4, for adrenal health, light to moderate exercise, especially when you're in deep adrenal fatigue. Do not push yourself. Make sure you go light and easy on yourself, not to the point of exhaustion. People who have severe adrenal fatigue are going to need just gentle yoga and leisurely walks in the park, things like that. Number 5, sunshine therapy. Get some on your skin daily. You know, in the winter, in some areas, you may want to use full spectrum lights, but natural light's so important for adrenal function. Number 6 is clean up your diet. Seems like a no-brainer, right? But making sure that you're eating really clean, quality food, as well as avoiding any of your food allergies or sensitivities is going to be important for your adrenals to heal. And avoiding extreme detox diets. Number 7 was get tested. You really need a way to measure your own health specifically so you know where your body's at and what your body currently needs. And there's 3 forms of testing you can start to include. Blood sugar monitoring on your own, an A1C through your doctor, hair tissue mineral analysis, which is a way to get an overall picture of your cellular adrenal function, and then a way to assess your adrenal and sex hormones, which I personally use and recommend the Dutch hormone panel. And these are going to help assess the adrenal's 3 basic hormone functions. And after these 3, your practitioner may determine other testing is needed to get to the root of your adrenal fatigue. And lastly, number 8, and this is better figured out after you've had number 7 in place, is supplemental support. So you want to choose nutrients that are supportive for the phase you're in, where your body's at. Definitely consider working with someone on this. Most people do tolerate a good whole food C 2 to 3 times a day, a good B complex, a multi-mineral without iron and copper, and salt. And even some people, pretty much broadly, most people can do potassium as well. Okay, so that's a quick review of the video from last week about adrenal health, since that's our topic for the month. And since I shared that, I now want to cover sleep. That's the topic of today. Why does everybody have this issue with sleep? It's the number 1 issue that everyone checked off in the last poll that I did in here. And quite frankly, every client I've ever worked with struggles with sleep to varying degrees. So it's definitely a biggie. So we're going to dive right in. All right, so sleep's a big part of your health picture. And not getting enough sleep can hinder weight loss. It can affect your hormones and deeper healing. So it's really important to get your sleep on the right track, or at least improve immensely. Some people, it can take a really long time to really get really good, consistent sleep. I also want to talk a little bit about how managing your blood sugar can affect your endocrine glands and adrenals, and why this might impact your sleep. And it can also have an impact on your cravings during the day, which then is kind of like a snowball effect on your sleep. So before we get into more content, I'm going to ask you guys a few questions, and this is where I need your help. If you can be prepared to comment below and answer the questions, that would be great. All right, you ready? So, do you fall asleep as soon as your head hits the pillow? If that's you, say yes, pillow. Do you rely on an alarm clock to wake you up? If that's you, yes, alarm clock. Do you feel tired during the day? Yes, daytime tiredness. Do you tend to sleep more on the weekends? Yes, sleep on the weekends. Awaken a few hours after falling asleep and then find it hard to get back to sleep. If that's you, hard to get back to sleep. Are you sleepy in the afternoon, like that 3 to 5 p.m. time? If that's you, sleepy afternoon. Do you have difficulty falling asleep? If that's you, just type difficulty falling asleep. Do you tend to be a night person? If that's you, type yes, night person. Are you a slow starter in the morning? Yes, slow in the morning. Okay, so go ahead and comment, please. It's so helpful for us to engage here. And these are all different possible things that can kind of indicate that you have some level of sleep deprivation. All right. Now, I want to talk a little bit about how the human body runs on a daily cycle, and this is known as our circadian rhythm. And every cell has an internal clock kind of telling it what to do, what time of the day it is. And if we're in good health, our internal clock should be working in sync. Our hormones should be working in sync. And then, our circadian rhythm is synchronized and we can have optimal sleep and optimal health. But what happens when our circadian rhythm gets out of sync or off balance or disrupted, health issues and disease can start to set in. So one example would be mommies who have the babies who are up for months and months, if not years, in the middle of the night, breastfeeding, or shift workers. So gotta be grateful for all the shift workers that work through the night, like firefighters and emergency room doctors and nurses and staff, and so many other jobs out there that they have to work shift hours. That's really tough, especially for years and years and years and years. All right, so our circadian rhythm is our body's internal clock telling our hormones what to do and when. It's really important. So in order to keep our circadian rhythm happy, we can do some things to support it. We can get sun exposure in the morning if possible. So, earlier in the morning, that can really help. And then more in the afternoon can really help as well. Another thing to support your circadian rhythm is to make sure you're eating in the light hours of the day and you're not eating, the whole entire 24 hours of the day, but just during that nice window of when the sun's up right till before it goes down. And then avoiding bright light at night. This is tough because we have screens of every kind, we have lights in our home. So if you can just start to dim your lights, get flux on your computer, things like that. Some people are wearing these glasses, the blue blocking glasses. I'm not really into that myself. It's a little bit annoying, but I always have flux on my computer and I dim the lights every night after dinner. Okay, so you want to avoid that white and blue light. So you can get things like, salt lamps and have warmer light if you need light in the evening. And then lastly, adopting a bedtime that just allows a full night's rest. So if you're one of those staying up after the kids go to bed for hours because you want to get stuff done, that's tough. A lot of people do that. And so it's really important to have a consistent bedtime and get to bed a couple hours before midnight so your adrenal glands have a chance to restore. So somewhere between the hours of 10 and 6 is a nice window. All right, but make sure it fits in your life. I realize we all have different scenarios and things. But ultimately, deprivation of sleep, it can really create a vicious cycle of excess stress hormones. It can reduce our sleep-inducing melatonin and low growth hormone. So the state of your current hormones is also going to affect your ability to sleep. So hormonal imbalances like low progesterone, which is pretty common, which is also associated with PMS. So, if you really have PMS, your sex hormones could be affecting your sleep. Low serotonin, this can correlate to gut health issues too. And people who have depression usually have low serotonin. So if that's you, really improving your serotonin. And so these different hormonal imbalances can really affect your, maybe tossing and turning, waking in the middle of the night, different sleep issues that people have. And I'll talk about that a little bit more in a minute. But the other thing too about sleep is, regular, consistent, quality sleep is going to help you stay slim. It's going to help you with your weight. The hypothalamus gland works to regulate your internal clock. The hypothalamus gland is in our brain, and it helps us balance our circadian rhythm. And I talked about this before, the whole hypothalamus pituitary adrenal axis called HPA axis. So this all needs to be working properly, and that's part of why it's important to help our circadian rhythm out and keep it happy. So when that's working well, it really helps with normal sleep and hormone release patterns, okay? And the really beautiful thing about sleep is that our body has the ability to rebuild itself during sleep. And we really need to get into that deep sleep, and there's several sleep cycles we need to go through. So it's so important to have that long stretch consistent in a row for us to get the best sleep that we can. We can rebuild our bones, our skin, and our muscle cells during our sleep. So that said, deep sleep really does equal beauty sleep. We say that, but that's really why. We need the release of growth hormone for fat loss as well. So that's going to be important if you're concerned about weight. Growth hormone is released when we're able to fall into a deeper sleep. And without sufficient melatonin production, we're gonna lose those fat burning benefits of growth hormone. And this can make us more susceptible to abdominal weight gain, which is a biggie for a lot of people. Now, stress too can really mess up your sleep cycle. And we know that cortisol is a stress hormone, and it's released by your adrenal glands in the presence of stress or low blood sugar. And so when we have chronically high cortisol levels, this is going to disturb our moods and our sleep. Cortisol actually governs your sleep-wake patterns. So people who have insomnia usually have higher 24-hour cortisol levels. So, like I said in the beginning of the 8 steps of, what you can do to support your adrenal health, if you've had chronic stress, you may have some serious cortisol imbalance, and testing may be something that could really help you get more information about yourself. So it's also believed that, a lack of quality deep sleep where you get into that REM sleep can impede surges of growth hormone, and that results in increased fat tissue and reduced muscle mass. And sleep deprivation causes lower body temperature and fatigue, and it can lead to increased food consumption to boost your energy and help you stay warm. How many of you resonate with that, what I just said? So many of my women are like, I can't get warm and I'm always cold. Low progesterone, I had said a minute ago, or an imbalance between progesterone and estrogen with an estrogen dominance is going to be another situation where sleep is going to be an issue. And poor sleep is also common in perimenopause, by the way. So ladies, when you're getting into perimenopause, you may start to notice your sleep gets a little off. Now, when progesterone is actually at its proper level, not too little, not too much, you should feel sleepy at the right times and more able to achieve a full 8 hours of sleep every night. All right, so that's something to think about if you start to do some changes and really work on your sleep, and it's just not improving enough. Getting your hormones looked at can really help. So then you can start to dig deeper and work on balancing your hormones. Now, a B6 is involved in the production of neurotransmitters, serotonin being one of them, and that controls your mood, sleep, appetite, and dopamine, which controls pleasure and satisfaction. And B6 is going to be in a good B complex, which I mentioned earlier in the 8 steps to supporting adrenal health under the supplement aspect. Now, we also need B6 to help with magnesium uptake and use. And you probably heard me talk about how magnesium is like the ultimate chill pill and is super supportive for people for sleep. So think about that when you're thinking about, should I get a B complex or not? It really is a good idea for most people, but it is possible to go overboard on just a B6. So don't just run out and get a B6 because I said this. It's definitely important to balance all your Bs and not go too crazy with any one nutrient. So you can overdo it on that. So just, start off with a B complex and don't take too much unless you're working with a practitioner and specific testing is showing that you need it. All right, now I want to talk about a little bit how to create a better sleep environment. It's important to make some lifestyle habits and changes, as well as do the nutrition part. So number 1, sleep in a dark room. A lot of people have light in their room somehow. Maybe you sleep with the TV on, you sleep with a night light, you sleep with the door open and the lights in the hall are on. You've got street lights, you've got little glowing lights from whatever electronics are plugged in your bedroom. Your alarm clock's facing your bed and it's bright, blue or red or whatever it is. So you want to get that light out of your room and make it as dark as possible. So there's a lot of solutions that you can implement for this. You can get room darkening shades. You can turn your alarm clock around so that you can't see the light. If you have anything that lights up, either take it out of the bedroom or cover it up or something. Some people feel okay with using like an eye mask. My son used to use one for a while. He was super sensitive. So the reason why this is important is because light disrupts your circadian rhythm. It's actually the pineal gland which produces our melatonin. And so it affects that pineal gland from being able to make melatonin. So light basically shuts off your melatonin production. So that's why turning the lights down in the evening and then keeping your bedroom dark is going to be so important. So low lighting in your bedroom in the evening, maybe invest in some warmer lights or, turn the lights off early. Maybe get a few candles, get a salt lamp, whatever. There's no reason we need bright light in our bedrooms when we're trying to get ready to go to bed. All right, this next tip is a little harder, but avoiding EMFs in the bedroom. And last year I did a podcast with my colleague Brian Hoyer all about this, so you can definitely dig into some major insight on that on the podcast episode that I did with him. But EMFs can also disrupt your pineal glands and the production of serotonin and melatonin. And so there's EMFs that are going to be emitted from so many sources, but some of them are your digital alarm clocks, any other electrical devices, your cell phones, outlets, running up the wall, just so many things. So to take a couple of simple steps, and this is not, a perfect solution, but it certainly can help, is always put your cell phone on airplane mode or just don't bring it in the bedroom with you. Maybe try to find a different alarm clock situation. I just use my cell phone on airplane mode away from my head for now. That's my short-term solution. And if you have a lot of electronics in your bedroom, do you really need them in there? Maybe you can get rid of some of them or just get them far away from your bed. Now, people who are super sensitive, severe adrenal fatigue, mercury toxicity, EMFs are going to be a big deal for you. So keep that in the back of your mind as you're trying to heal and you're finding, maybe you're not getting as far as you'd like. That's possibly a piece you may want to dig into. And TVs also, they disrupt our hormones via the EMFs as well. So turn off the TV and enjoy more sex if you're able to. Actually, sex is important for hormonal balance, appetite control, and weight loss as well. And so it can help your hormonal health. And do I really need to convince you guys to have more sex? Create bedroom zen. I like this concept. So, your bedroom's really sole purpose is to sleep and have sex. So try to make it be kind of like a little haven if you can. I know that's not always possible, but the more you can do that, the more you're gonna it's gonna be an environment that's gonna really support your sleep. As well, you can get comfortable bedding, clothing. Some people find that switching their mattresses, organic cotton bedding, buckwheat pillows, cotton wool pillows, all those kinds of things can really help, because if you're super comfortable, it's really going to help you relax better and sleep. Keeping your bedroom cool is another one. Not cold, not hot, 70 degrees-ish, but your body needs to keep cool slightly at night to help you release melatonin. It's all about the melatonin. So that's something too to think about. So is the bedroom temperature appropriate? White noise can be helpful, such as a fan or some type of white noise machine, especially if you're susceptible to outdoor noises so you don't get those sudden startles, or if you're a light sleeper, or you have others waking in the night. Some people need to sleep with earplugs. There's situations where that's important, so if that's you, don't be afraid to use them. It's so important to get that sleep. And then avoiding loud alarm clocks first thing in the morning. So this seems silly, but that sudden waking noise can affect you if you're in the middle of a deep sleep cycle. So, and then it can even affect you during the day. So, if you're really, really struggling, there's all these steps can really start to help a lot. There's a thing called a sunrise alarm. You may even have a setting on your cell phone if you use it as your alarm that can gradually slow, or a different noise that is very subtle and gentle. So it's not like, revelry going off the first thing. Keeping those lights off during the night, quality comfort matters, I said, and trying not to sleep with pets and kids. That one's I'm gonna just leave that out there because I know people like to share their bed, but it can be really disruptive. So if you're really trying to heal and you're really struggling with your health, that might be something that can really be a good consideration for you. And lastly, I want to talk about natural sleep aids. And I'm not going to talk about too many of them because I really feel it's important to individualize supplements. So I'm very careful to make broad suggestions for people, but there are a few that you could give a try that if you feel like you need a little sleep support, could be really helpful. So that said, when they're actually taken properly for the right reasons, supplements can really help improve the quality and quantity of your sleep. Usually without any side effects, but again, I'm just going to disclaim that, we're all different. So take this as broad recommendation and just know you're going to need to, see if it works for you. So, and this is where working with a practitioner could really help you so that you're able to choose what you can use by determining what the cause of your sleep disruption is. So, that's where, working with somebody can really help you a little bit more. If you're trying all this stuff on your own and it's not working, that's when you want to get someone to help you. So, again, really quick to recap, there's reasons why we have difficulty falling asleep or staying asleep: stress, vitamin or mineral deficiencies. I'm going to talk about the mineral deficiencies in another video. Excess caffeine intake. It can stay in your system for up to 12 hours, so some people can't process it as quick as others. So keep that in mind. medications, menopause, anxiety, depression, low melatonin production, muscle tension or pain, and so many more. There's lots of gut dysbiosis issues that can affect our sleep as well. So I just want you to know there are herbal remedies, vitamins, minerals, and amino acids that can help you while you dig deeper and really start to iron out your health, so you can avoid those things that are causing your sleep disruptions. All right, so one that I want to talk about is taurine. And this is an amino acid that plays a major role in our brain as an inhibitory neurotransmitter. And it provides an anti-anxiety effect, and it can help calm or stabilize an excited mind. Now, one of my personal big reasons I have trouble is when my mind is overstimulated. So like I'll be in the middle of like a big project, or I don't know, major stuff is going on, and my mind will go around and around and around, and I literally can't fall asleep. So for me, taurine is a very helpful support. It may not work for everyone, but I'm a fast oxidizer and my minerals they're okay, but they're a little low. So this helps me out a lot because it also helps you, really hold on to your minerals as well. So it has a lot of other uses. It can help treat migraines, insomnia, agitation, restlessness, irritability, alcoholism, obsessions, depression, and even hypomania. So it has a lot of support for a lot of health issues, which can be correlated with sleep issues. So before you take it, if you have a practitioner, ask them if it'll work for you. If you do take it, just start with a little bit. Some people can't tolerate it. That's very rare. Most people do okay. But it helps to inhibit the release of adrenaline, and it also can protect you from anxiety. So it's a nice one. It can help actually improve the action of insulin and control high blood pressure. So that's way more than sleep, you guys. So I love taurine. I'll probably be talking about it in future videos. Start with just like a 500 milligram dose and see how it goes for you, either with your dinner or before bed. Just see if you're okay with it. Taking it right before bed can be really helpful. You don't need to take it with food. Magnesium, you guys have heard me talk about magnesium a ton. 500 milligrams to start. I don't want to push it up too much, but you can refer to your label if you purchase some and see what it says. And then, talk to your practitioner, just make sure you're not doing it over. But honestly, in the short term, 1,000 milligrams might be okay. Everyone's going to be different, all right? But refer to the product label that you buy and then talk to your practitioner if you aren't sure. Magnesium, do I even need to talk about this? Apparently I do, because every time I do, someone's like, oh yeah, I forgot to take my magnesium. Most of us are pretty deficient until we purpose to restore our tissue levels, okay? So there is a form of magnesium called magnesium taurate, which is magnesium and taurine. So basically that might be something you might want to try if you are new to this whole magnesium before bed for calming. Try magnesium taurate, see if that works for you. But it's a calming mineral, it's a great sleep aid. If you haven't been taking magnesium yet, if you're brand new, you want to start with maybe between 200 and 400 milligrams a day. The smaller you are, the less you need. The bigger you are, the more you'll need. But magnesium can antagonize other minerals, so you just don't want to go up too high too fast unless you're talking to your practitioner and you're balancing everything else, okay? So what I usually tell people is, somewhere in the 200 to 400 range, but men can go up to 600. People who are taller, larger people can usually tolerate upwards of 600. So give it a chance, start with the lower amount and see how you do, because you may not need as much as you think. And I just have people start with one time a day in the evening, maybe with your dinner or before bed. But if you go too high, certain forms can make you have looser stools. So trying something like magnesium taurate or orotate are the ones that are going to be less bowel purging. Also, you can do transdermal magnesium. So That's just basically getting a form of magnesium and putting it on your skin. So if you don't want to take a pill and you just want to try something, you don't want to put anything out of balance, putting it on your skin is an easy way, and so many people have found that to be helpful. So there's magnesium lotion, there's magnesium gel, there's magnesium spray. There's instructions on the product labels that will tell you how to use it. So I'm not going to sit here and tell you all that information today. You need to figure that out. But one thing I will say is some people do not like the spray because it stings afterwards. And that doesn't always happen long term, but usually it's a sign your body's not got enough magnesium reserves. And so find a form that you tolerate, okay? Some people are like, I don't care about the stinging, I'm tough, whatever. So there's the spray, the gel, the oil, the lotion, a million things. Go Google them, do the search in here. We've talked about it umpteen times. If you're not doing topical, it's great, can really start to help you out. And just add it to your bedtime routine. Keep it beside your bed and just be reminded by being there that, oh yeah, I can put in my mag lotion or oil or whatever. It can make your skin feel like you just got out of the ocean water. It can have like a drying effect. All right, now some people need to balance magnesium and calcium if they're fast oxidizers, but I'm not going to go into that. So, if you're just not sure how much magnesium you should take and for how long, the topical is great because, it's a different impact than a supplement. Okay. You know how everybody says that turkey dinner induces sleep? It's the tryptophan, right? So foods rich in tryptophan are potentially something that could help you out. Tryptophan's an amino acid that's the building block of serotonin, and serotonin is our happy hormone. It's essential to our mood, sleep, memory, and appetite, and we need serotonin. It's a precursor to melatonin. So if you look up foods rich in tryptophan and maybe start including them in your afternoon and evening meals, your afternoon snack and your evening meal, to help you kind of naturally build up your melatonin. Now you need to be able to digest your protein, so make sure you're chewing your food well, and maybe taking your digestive support as you're recommended by your practitioner or you figured out for yourself. Another one is L-theanine, and this one's best for tension throughout the day. It's a calming amino acid. It's naturally found in green tea, and it's known to support relaxation without causing drowsiness. So it works by increasing the production of GABA in your brain, and it's kind of similar to the effects of meditation. It actually stimulates your alpha brain waves naturally that are associated with deep states of relaxation and enhanced mental clarity. No wonder I like green tea. So, that could be a good one to try to get in food or herbs. If you like green tea, I tend to have it in the late afternoon, early evening actually. Even though it has that little bit of caffeine in it, some people that doesn't affect them in their sleep because they're getting that balancing effect. So, some people maybe can take it in a supplement blend. So see if you can find something, or ask your practitioner. But I have a couple of recipes on my website for green tea, and there's so many amazing green tea options in the store anymore too. One more herb I want to tell you about, this generally a good one for people, is passion flower. This is actually the herb of choice for insomnia, and it aids transition into restful sleep. It's an anti-spasmodic. It's helpful for tension and stress. And it can also be effective in the treatment of nerve pain and viral infections like shingles or other viral issues. And it helps to decrease your anxiety and prolong your sleep time. So it actually has been tested with other sedative herbs in combo and anti-anxiety herbs such as valerian. And oftentimes you'll find herbal sleep products that have both and maybe some others. Okay? So it actually can be helpful for people with blood sugar issues too. And there's a couple products that I like with this in it. However, I'm going to say really quick, it's contraindicated in pregnancy and lactation because I know that question's coming. So there's two products. Biotics Research has a product called VHP, valerian, hops, and passion flower. Valerian, hops, passion flower. So if you know you can't have any of those, it's not going to be a good choice for you, but it's a nice herbal blend that works for a lot of people. My son took it for a while. There's also another product called MyoCalm PM, and it has some minerals in it, a little bit of calcium and magnesium in it too. That's another one that's really good for people who have insomnia or cannot fall asleep. And it's really great for people who have kind of that hyper anxiety or repeat stress, things like that. So those two products that I mentioned, make sure you're reading the label instructions or talking to your practitioner. So those are just a couple that I know are more broad and tend to generally be safe for most everyone. Again, there's always that person who can't do it, so just keep in mind that when you start anything new, you want to start out with a small amount and just test it out and make sure it's okay and working for you. Okay, now all of those supports that I mentioned can be kind of temporary while you're working on the underlying issue, but they can be really nice to help you out. There's other things like amino acids and minerals that can be taken longer term, and I'm going to talk more about minerals in another video down the road, okay? So I just gave you some steps for getting started to improve your sleep. There's plenty of juicy stuff in there that you could start implementing and working on. Maybe you were able to identify a few that sounded like, oh my gosh, I don't do that. Maybe I could do that. So if that's you, if any of those things were like a light bulb for you, maybe there's one in particular. Go ahead and comment below what that was. So I encourage you to take this training and implement at least one thing that I shared with you today during the next week so that you can see if it really starts to help you out. All right? Go ahead and comment below if there was one thing that was like a light bulb for you that you want to try. All right? Now, just remember, lack of sleep can affect absolutely every area of your health. Every area. And your mental health, not just your physical health. So it's so important, and it's going to be a big one. So if you've got all these hormonal issues, you've got all these other health issues, and the sleep part is not getting any improvement at all, it's just going to be really hard to heal as deeply as you might like. So I find that a lot of people have multiple things going on in their body, and that's when, some functional testing can really come in handy so you can target where the problems are. That goes back to, number 7 in my list for adrenal health, getting that targeted functional testing to show you what's really going on. In the meantime, give some of this stuff a try, really focus on it. Many years ago, I had to do this radical sleep makeover for my life because it was just I had 4 kids, I got out of a really bad marriage, the sleep thing was a nightmare, I won't even go there. And as soon as I was free of that person, I was like, okay, I'm changing everything. And the sleep is the first thing. So I was kind of tired of my sleep being totally screwed up. And I did some radical stuff to improve it, and I very much treasure my sleep. It's a gift, and it's so important. So I encourage you guys to really make this a focus in your life, not to the point where you're so anal about it, you're stressing everyone else and yourself out too. But there's definitely stuff you can do. So go ahead and get started with some of the stuff I shared today. If you guys have questions or comments, I'll be back later to check on those for you. And I will be back soon with another video talking a little bit more about sleep and mineral deficiencies and some things that I think you're going to enjoy as well. All right, thanks guys for watching. Bye.